kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtàn wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa tẹ́bá lówó kẹjọ kẹtàn wa. Ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa. Kò bá ẹ̀kọ́ ó dáni lójú pé yóò jìyà iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa iṣẹ́ burúkú ni wọ́n ń ṣe tí wọ́n bá jalè wọ́n wá tún fọ́lé ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa lẹ́bàá lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
Everyone who remembers the teachers, not everyone remembers who remembers his own education remembers teachers, not methods and techniques. The teacher is the heart of the educational system. With this quote from Sidney Hook, I welcome you to another edition of Education Today. Education Today is a program that aims to call the attention of the public to education matters as they affect the effective running of the educational system and the achievement of educational goals. This comes on air every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. West African time on this station, Lights Radio. I am OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. Our goal is to educate, inform, orientate, and entertain the society on educational matters, address issues affecting the educational system, influence public opinion, and drive effective educational policy directions to guide the formulators and implementers. For your comments, questions, and contributions, you can reach us on Facebook via www.facebook.com/lightsradio, www.facebook.com/lightsradio. Our Twitter handle is @TheLightsRadio. You can also reach us via Instagram, lights_radio, as well as YouTube, Lights Radio. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can also call or send a message to us via SMS or WhatsApp, on the number 0809-738-4000, 0809-738-4000. Today actually is the 7th day of October 2023, but then October 5 is the annual World Teachers Day, and today's episode is dedicated to celebrating our teachers past and present. So we'll go on a quick break and return. The program continues. Please stay with us. All right. If you just joined in, you are listening to Education Today on Lights Radio. We kick off with the news segment. This is the news on Education Today, reaching you live from Lights Radio. I'm OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. First, the headlines. WAEC Nigeria gets new head of national office. Obaseki to extend teachers' retirement age to 65. Lagos teacher wins African Union Teacher Prize. And other foreign SIM mobile phones to be banned in state school classrooms in the United Kingdom. Now the details. The West African Examinations Council WAEC has announced the appointment of Dr. Amos Josiah Dangote as the head of the Nigerian National Office. He succeeds Patrick Ehidiamen Aregan, whose tenure ended on October 1. This was contained in a statement by Acting Head of Public Affairs Moyosola Adesina. According to the statement, Dangote joined the services of WAEC in 1998 as an assistant registrar too, and rose through the ranks to become a deputy registrar in April 2018. It reads in part, he served as an assistant registrar and subject officer, Test Development Division, WAEC, Lagos, between July 1998 and January 2005. Senior Assistant Registrar, Heads of Examination Security, and Deputy to Branch Controller, OU Branch Office, January 2005 to January 2008. Senior Assistant Registrar / Head of Examination Security and Deputy to the Branch Controller, Bauchi Branch Office, from January 2008 to December 2011. Senior Assistant Registrar, Branch Controller, Yola Branch Office, December 2011 to January 2019. Deputy Registrar and Controller, Post Examinations Department, January 2019 to October 2020, as well as Deputy Registrar Zonal Coordinator, Ikeja Zonal Office. His profile reads further that Dangote was born on October 2, 1967 in Mba district of Bokos local government area, Plateau State. He attended government secondary school Riyam from 1981 to 1983 and government science school Kuru from 1983 to 1986, where he obtained his WASC in 1986, both in Plateau State. And from there, he proceeded to the University of Agriculture, Makurdi, Benue State, where he bagged the award of Bachelor of Agriculture in Animal Productions in 1991. According to the statement, Dangote has for the past 25 years leveraged information and communication technology to innovatively improve processes in test development, test administration, and post-test activities. Dangote is an astute scholar with various educational publications in international and national journals. He has also presented numerous keynotes and other papers at national and international conferences. The Executive Secretary of the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, Dr. Yela Ajayi, said the Commission is working towards collaborating with other agencies such as the National Commission for Colleges of Education in a bid to set minimum standards for teachers of English language and mathematics in secondary schools across the country. A statement released in Abuja on Thursday by the head Public Relations NSEC, Fatima Bukwari, noted that Yela, who spoke during a courtesy call on the Executive Secretary of NCCE, Professor Paulinus Okwele, in his Abuja office, said that the officials of the commission had gone around the 6 geopolitical zones to stimulate collaboration with stakeholders and critique the zero draft minimum standard. When that is approved and implemented, it will set a benchmark for all aspects of senior secondary education in the country, the Executive Secretary added. He further disclosed that his commission, which is saddled with the responsibility of repositioning senior secondary education in the country, has commenced proper planning on senior secondary school database and production of the zero draft national policies. These, he said, are to strengthen senior secondary education and reposition the sector to meet international and societal needs. Also, he revealed that the NSEC has commenced the reskilling and retooling of teachers of English language and mathematics to meet the NSEC's minimum standards in these subjects. He later called on the National Commission for Colleges of Education to support his commission in the area of capacity development of teachers. The Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, has disclosed plans by his administration to extend the service years of teachers in the state. To achieve this, the governor has forwarded a harmonized retirement age bill for the extension of retirement age for teachers in the state to the Edo State House of Assembly. Obaseki disclosed this when he addressed teachers at the 2023 Teachers' Day ceremony held at the Conference Hall of Teachers House in Siluko Road, Benin City. According to the governor, the bill is meant to harmonize the present service and retirement age of teachers, which provides for the extension of the service years from 30 to 35 years and retirement age from 60 to 65 years. Noting that as soon as the House passes the bill into law, his administration will commence its implementation with immediate effect. The governor commended the teachers for their commitment to the education sector of the state and implementing the policies of the administration with due diligence, with special reference to the Edo Best policy, which he said has been hugely successful and acclaimed globally. In a related development, teachers in Lagos State have expressed concern over the continued delay by the Lagos State government in increasing the retirement age of teachers in the state-owned schools from 60 to 65 years, or their duration of service from 35 to 40 years, saying the delay is becoming too long. They equally asked the state government to employ more qualified teachers, especially to replace those who have retired, and also provide transit camp in form of accommodation for teachers living outside the state and remote communities. The chairman of Nigerian Union of Teachers, Lagos State Wing, Mr. Hassan Akintoye, made the appeal on Thursday at an event organized by the chapter to commemorate this year's World Teachers' Day celebration. Barely 2 weeks after 2 Lagos teachers were shortlisted among the top 50 finalists for the Global Teacher Prize. Another teacher in a state public school, Adeola Adefemi, has emerged as the winner of this year's African Union Continental Teacher Prize. She was announced the winner virtually on Thursday afternoon by the director of UNESCO in charge of International Institute of Capacity Building in Africa, Wardon Quentin, to commemorate this year's World Teachers' Day celebration held across the globe. Adefemi, an English teacher at Keke Senior High School in Agege under the State's Education District 1, is a multiple award-winning teacher. She won the best prize in Lagos State last year and was celebrated and rewarded by the state government, particularly Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, with a brand new SUV. And later that same year, she won the Presidential Best Teacher Prize in Nigeria and was given another SUV by the federal government for her efforts. Now, with her latest award, Adefemi received an award plaque, a certificate of recognition, and a cash prize of $10,000 for winning the award. According to the African Union Commission, the award is aimed at enhancing the visibility and status of teachers in Africa at all levels, promoting teaching as a respected profession, and celebrating and encouraging outstanding teachers across the continent. Members of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics, and Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions (NASU) have embarked on indefinite strike over non-payment of salaries and allowances for 3 months. The unions, in a communique issued at the end of the Joint Action Committee on Wednesday, lamented the attitude of the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic management to staff welfare. They also stated non-release of the 2019 appointments and 2020 promotions to staff members, non-remittance of pensions, cooperative and union deductions for over 45 months, and non-approval of conversion and upgrading exercise to eligible members of staff. The unions also alleged the Mapoli management of financial recklessness and nonchalant attitude to workers' welfare, stating that they had written a series of letters to the school management on the need to prioritize the welfare of members of staff, but to no avail. The unions therefore passed a vote of no confidence on the rector, Dr. Adeoye Odedeji, and the bursar, Mr. Fatai Yekini of the institution, and called for intervention from Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State. And on the foreign scene, head teachers in the UK will be told to ban pupils from using mobile phones during the entire school day under new government guidance. The Department for Education wants children to be barred from using devices on breaks as well as in class to ensure their optimum concentration. To this effect, Education Secretary Gillian Keegan has announced the plans at the Conservative Party conference on Monday, October 2. The government already encourages head teachers to limit phone usage, and many schools have put restrictions in place. According to a source, Gillian believes that mobile phones pose a serious challenge in terms of distraction, disruptive behavior, and bullying, as it is considered to be one of the biggest issues that children and teachers have to grapple with, which brought about the new policy. Recall that a ban on devices in schools was previously proposed by the then Education Secretary Gavin Williamson in 2021, when he warned that smartphones were distracting and damaging. And finally, Ukraine plans to build its first fully underground school in the eastern city of Kharkiv to shield students from Russian bomb and missile attacks, the city's mayor said. Parts of Kharkiv city, which is located less than 35 kilometers from the Russian border, have been subjected to nearly daily Russian aerial attacks, which can strike before residents have time to reach underground shelters. We are planning to build Ukraine's first underground school, which will address the most modern regulatory requirements for protected structures, Kharkiv's mayor Ihor Terekov wrote on Telegram messaging app. This shelter will allow thousands of children in Kharkiv to continue safe in-person education even during missile threats, Terekov said. Ukraine's Minister of Education says that 363 educational institutions have been destroyed and nearly 3,800 damaged throughout the country since the war began with Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022. That's all on the news today, but before we go, another look at the major stories. WAEC Nigeria gets new heads of national office. Obaseki to extend teachers' retirement age to 65. Lagos teacher wins African Union Teacher Prize. And on the foreign scene, mobile phones to be banned in state school classrooms in UK. That's the news. It was compiled by Nima Ibrahim and edited by OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. For coverage of your educational events, seminars, conferences, fairs, competitions, among others, you can call us on 0702 507 4268, 0702 507-4268, or you can send us an email via educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. That's all we can take on the news for today. Right now, we'll take the International Days segment. And to do this, we have Aisha Hussein. Hello, Aisha.
Hello, Mr. Kazeem.
All right, over to you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the International Day segment of Education Today, where we take a look at different days embarked by the United Nations to commemorate different aspects of our lives and global citizens. I am Aisha Hussein. Today we'll be considering the World Teachers Day, commemorated every 5th October of the year. World Teachers Day is held annually on 5th October to celebrate all teachers around the globe. It commemorates the anniversary of the adoption of the 1966 ILO UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of teachers, which sets benchmark regarding the right and responsibilities of teachers and standard for their initial preparation and further education requirements, employment, teaching and learning conditions. The recommendation concerning the status of higher education teaching personnel was adopted in 1997 to complement the 1966 recommendation by covering teaching personnel in higher education. World Teachers Day has been celebrated since 1994. It is a day to celebrate how teachers are transforming education, but also to reflect on the support they need to fully deploy their talents and vocation, and to rethink the way ahead for profession globally. World Teachers Day is co-convened in partnership with the International Labour Organization, ILO, UNICEF, and Education International, EI, to celebrate World Teachers Day. The United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, and Education International, EI, mount a campaign each year to help give the world better understanding of teachers and the role they play in development of students and society. They partner with the private sector, such as media organizations, to achieve this purpose. The campaign focuses on different themes for every year. More than 100 countries commemorate World Teachers Day, and each holds its own celebration, such as the case of India, which has the commemorating National Teachers Day every 5th of September. In Australia, as the day usually falls during school holidays, Australia state and territories celebrate on the last Friday of October each year instead. Being a teacher provides the unique opportunity to make a transformative and lasting impact on the life of others, contributing to shaping sustainable futures and offering personal fulfillment. However, the world faces an unprecedented global teacher shortage, exacerbated by a decline in their working condition and status. The theme of the World Teachers Day 2023 is the teacher we need for education we want. The global imperative to resolve the teacher shortage. Teachers are the heart of education, and in many countries are living the profession they love, and fewer young people aspire to become one. UNESCO estimates that the world needs over 69 million new teachers by 2030, and the shortage only continues to grow. We think the 2023 celebration aimed to put the importance of stopping the decline in the number of teachers and then starting to increase that number at the top of the global agenda. Through various activities, stakeholders advocated for a dignified and valued teaching profession, analyzed their challenges, and showcased inspiration practice to attract, retrain, and motivate teachers and educators. It also examined the way in which education systems, societies, communities, and families can recognize, appreciate, and actively support teachers. We hope every one of us will join this campaign to increase the number, quality, and motivation of teachers to safeguard education across the globe from total collapse. That's it on International Day segment. I am Aisha Ozin. Education Today continues in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
All right. That was the International Day segment. We celebrate our teachers. We celebrate our teachers across the globe for their effort in imparting knowledge in us. Right now, we'll take the Did You Know segment with Said Aremu. Hello, Said.
Hi, Mr. KAZEEM.
All right. Let's have the Did You Know segment.
Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to the Did You Know segment of Education Today, where we consider random ideas, thoughts, personalities, events, concepts, and celebrations that many people are unaware of. The objective, of course, is to broaden our horizon and increase our base knowledge of things around us beyond what is taught in schools and classes. I am Said Aremu Olaiwaju. Today, we want to talk about diphtheria. Diphtheria is a serious infection caused by strains. Diphtheria is a serious infection caused by strains of bacteria called Corynebacterium diphtheria that make toxin. It can lead to difficulty breathing, heart-rhythm problems, and even death. It is a toxin that can cause people to get very sick. Diphtheria bacteria spread from person to person, usually through respiratory droplets, like from coughing or sneezing. People can also get sick from touching infected open sores or ulcers. Those at increased risk of getting sick include people in the same household, people with a history of frequent close contact with the patient, people directly exposed to secretions from the suspected infection site, e.g., mouth, skin of the patient. Diphtheria can infect the respiratory tract, which are the part of the body involved in breathing, and skin. Symptoms of diphtheria depend on the body part that is affected. People who are exposed to diphtheria usually start having symptoms in 2 to 5 days if they get sick. If a doctor thinks you have respiratory diphtheria, they will have you start treatment right away. So what is respiratory diphtheria? The bacteria most commonly infect the respiratory system, which includes part of the body involved in breathing. When the bacteria gets into and attached to the lining of the respiratory system, it can cause weakness, sore throat, mouth fever, and swollen glands in the neck. The bacteria make a toxin that kills healthy tissues in the respiratory system. Within 2 to 3 days, the dead tissue forms a thick grey coating that can build up in the throat or nose. Medical experts call this thick grey coating a pseudomembrane. It can cover tissues in the nose, tonsils, voice box, and throat, making it very difficult to breathe and swallow. If the toxin gets into the bloodstream, it can cause heart, nerve, and kidney damage. The bacteria can also infect the skin, causing open sores or ulcers. However, diphtheria skin infections rarely result in severe disease. So how do you treat diphtheria? Doctors usually decide if a person has diphtheria by looking for common signs and symptoms. They can swab the back of the throat or nose and test it for the bacteria that cause diphtheria. A doctor can also take a sample from an open sore or ulcer and try to grow the bacteria. If the bacteria grow and make the diphtheria toxin, the doctor can be sure a patient has diphtheria. However, it takes time to grow the bacteria, so it is important to start treatment right away if a doctor suspects respiratory diphtheria. Diphtheria treatment involves using diphtheria antitoxin to stop the bacterial toxin from damaging the body. This treatment is very important for the respiratory diphtheria infections, but it is rarely used for diphtheria skin infections. Secondly, you can use antibiotics to kill and get rid of the bacteria. This is important for diphtheria infections in the respiratory system and on the skin and other parts of the body, for example, eyes and blood. People with diphtheria are usually no longer able to infect others 48 hours after they begin taking antibiotics. However, it is important to finish the full course of antibiotics to make sure the bacteria are completely removed from the body. After the patient finishes the full treatment, the doctor will run tests to make sure the bacteria are not in the patient's body anymore. Complications from respiratory diphtheria may include airway blockage, myocarditis, which is damage to the heart muscle, polyneuropathy, which is nerve damage, and kidney failure. For some people, respiratory diphtheria can lead to death. Even with treatment, about 1 to 10 patients with respiratory diphtheria die. Without treatment, up to half of patients can die from the disease. Keeping up to date with recommended vaccines is the best protection against diphtheria. In the United States, there are 4 vaccines used to prevent diphtheria, which are DTaP, Tdap, DT, and TD. Each of these vaccines prevent diphtheria and tetanus. DTaP and Tdap also help prevent pertussis, which means whooping cough. The Center for Disease Control, CDC, recommends that close contact of someone with diphtheria receive antibiotics to prevent them from getting sick. Experts call this prophylaxis, or more properly pronounced prophylaxis. In addition to getting antibiotics, close contact of someone with diphtheria should be monitored for possible illness for 7 to 10 days from the time they were last exposed. They should be tested for diphtheria with a sample collected from the nose and throat, and they should be given a diphtheria booster shot if they are not up to date with their vaccines. Health Department investigates each case of diphtheria to identify all close contacts and make sure they receive right preventive measures. Now you know. That's all on the Junior segment for this week. I am Saeed Aremu. Education Today continues shortly. Please stay with us.
láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dára púpọ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ló láyé táwa yìí sẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dẹni gíga ẹ̀kọ́ ló ń gbé ní dépò ọlá ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa ẹ̀dàkúnyé ẹ̀yin òbí wa bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó kẹjọ kẹtọ́ wa.
All right, you are still on to Education Today on Lights Radio, and we are moving into the Discuss segment. And our guest is here with us. Today we are discussing World Teachers Day, celebrating our teachers. You know, like we said, October 5 is the World Teachers Day. Today is October 7, and we are dedicating today's episode of Education Today to the celebration of our teachers. And that's why today we are discussing World Teachers Day, celebrating our teachers. Remember that World Teachers Day, otherwise known as International Teachers Day, is an annual event held on October 5. The theme for World Teachers Day 2023 is the teacher we need for the education we want. Joining us on the program today, we have a teacher by training and practice who is currently undergoing his doctorate in physics. He's a graduate of physics from the University of Lagos, and he's a PhD student currently. So he's a teacher by training. You know, all the cadres of teacher training he has gone through, and right now he's undergoing his doctorate program. So we have Mr. Akintunde Oluwatosin Ajayi. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to Education Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's a pleasure to have you around. Probably let me begin, with this question, because we are looking at World Teachers Day. Specifically, who is a teacher? Who is a teacher?
I think a teacher is someone who has passed through the classroom to be professionally sound and has been satisfied professionally.
Or someone certified professionally that yes, you can teach because you have undergone the training and now you have what it takes to actually go into the classroom to teach, right?
Exactly.
All right. So now, because you said you are a teacher by training and by practice, probably I want to ask you, why did you choose teaching as a profession out of all the professions that you have out there, especially these days where people are making millions, making a whole lot of money, and people are saying teachers, there is no money there. So why did you choose teaching of all professions?
Yeah, why I choose teaching is that one thing about teaching is about passion, love, interest. So I think I choose teaching because of the interest and passion. And right from when I was young, the way I see teacher teach influence my mindset. So I believe that it is passion, love, the interest you have for it, and also your level of understanding of the content of what you have for teaching.
That's impressive. That's impressive. You know, it's not always common that you have people speak passionately about teaching the way you have done, that you're doing. Because I know a lot of people, yes, the passion started along the line. That is a burnout. Money no day, I beg you. So you just see that passion, wane like that. But the way you are still, it means the passion is still there. Am I correct?
Yes, the passion is there because teachers are seen as role model, bridge makers. You understand? And all these things have better benefit in the future, especially when you see the children that you have trained on the streets or in an organization, in the bank, anywhere across the world.
Say,
You'll be motivated.
Well done, sir. Oh, you taught me while is that? So that joy.
That joy. So
impressive.
it's not about money.
It's not all about money. But in this economy, money matter. All right, no problem. That's just on a lighter mood. So now we are talking about the World Teachers Day. So what exactly is this day about? What is the World Teachers Day about?
Yes, the World Teachers Day is set aside for teachers to be celebrated for their input in nation building, because teachers are nation builders. So I believe that this day is set aside for everybody, individuals, community, government, philanthropists, to come and appreciate the teachers. Even those who have passed through the teachers, to come back and give back
to their teachers.
To their teachers.
All right. Now, because you're talking about celebrating teachers now for what they have done, things like that, and I'm forced to ask this question: why should we celebrate teachers? After all, are they not just like any other professional out there that went through professional training and is practicing, and for the job the person is doing is getting his pay? So teachers get paid, they have gone for training, they are teaching, and they get paid. So why should we really celebrate them, probably especially? After all, we have other professions out there, and everybody who celebrates an engineer now for doing his work.
Yes, the uniqueness in teaching makes teaching special, make teaching different from other professions. And I believe that when we talk about teachers, they are dealing with human life. And I believe that they should, based on the policy of education, after you have gone through education, you are expected to give back to the society and give back to those who have made you go through the thorough teaching and learning process. So I believe that teachers should be appreciated. And there are various ways to appreciate teachers.
Okay, so now you're saying that for the unique thing, because they are dealing with lives.
Yeah.
And you cannot compare life with any other thing or with any other commodity that you have there. All right. Now, for all that you have said, I know from experience, probably not all teachers are able to tick that, those boxes of unique features that you have just mentioned. So I'm forced to ask, should all teachers be celebrated, or just those unique ones that we all know that they go through the extra mile to achieve remarkable feats in the lives of their students? Because there are some teachers that taught us and are like, no, we can't forget them ever. We cannot forget them. In fact, we remember them, we remember their faces, we remember their names. There are some that they have taught us, and in fact, you wish not to ever have come across them. So are we now saying we should celebrate all the teachers, or only those ones that have done well?
Yes, in academic, we work with statistics.
Okay.
All teachers should be celebrated. But the way or the rate at which teachers are celebrated depends on the inputs they put in that job, based on their passion and interest, and based on the relationship
they have.
And try to understand that this teaching profession that we are talking about, there are ethics about this teaching. So how far have you followed the ethics of this teaching, and how far have you actualized what you want to achieve at the end of the day? Because there must always be an outcome when it comes to teaching and learning process.
All right. So now that you have said, well, let's celebrate everyone. Now, the extent of the celebration now depends on the kind of relationship such a teacher has built, with the students, the impact such a teacher has. And influence. All right. So how then should we celebrate teachers? Or probably let me even make it personal. How would you as a teacher love to be celebrated?
Yes. There are so many ways that we can appreciate a teacher. How can we appreciate the teacher? By saying, thank you. I appreciate your role when you do teach. It goes a long way. Thank you goes a long way. 2, how do we appreciate a teacher? A student who draw a teacher as a pictorial image, you understand, is part of the things we love. Or you come back and give a teacher a plug, is another way of appreciating a teacher. Or you see a teacher on the road or in the community or in a public place and say, oh, teacher, my teacher, and you embrace the teacher. There are so many various ways we can appreciate teachers. Or you give your teacher a kind of preference in the community, that you let them realize that this person has been a role model to my life. This person has influenced my life. All is not about money in terms of appreciating teachers. There are ways we can appreciate teachers.
Even beyond money.
Beyond money.
The respect, the honor, like you said, I have had, one of my teachers actually sharing an experience, and he said he traveled all the way he was going to the US, but had a connecting flight to Germany and met a particular student there in Germany. And the student is actually an air hostess. And the student greeted the teacher and was like, I don't know, I can't remember. He said, you taught me so and so in this particular school, and I cannot forget. He said, I have even forgotten. Say, don't worry, this and that. Where are you going? He said, I'm going to the US. From Germany? All right, no problem. And that was all the person said. Say, oh, which part of US? We're going for one conference like that. Okay, fine. Now, what happened? The students went to the pilots of that plane that flew from Germany to the US. The first thing they did, the pilot himself announced a change, that we have on board on this particular aircraft a particular teacher, an African teacher for that matter, the only one for that matter as far as the whole of the number of people that you have on this flight is concerned, from Africa. And this particular teacher mentioned the name for everybody, and they upgraded the teacher's ticket from economy to first class. In fact, the man said he has never witnessed such an honor before. And upon landing in the United States, he was received by that particular student, and the trip was sponsored. In fact, kinds of treatment, everything. Said this truly shows that, see, the reward of teacher is not in heaven. You're actually here. Now, all right, so good. Now, I love that you're saying that there are different ways by which you can, appreciate and celebrate our teachers, not only probably just by giving them, money. Okay, so now the theme of the World Teachers Day 2023 is the teacher we need for the education we want. Looking at this, how do you think we can achieve that in Nigeria? Because it's a global theme, but we have to domesticate it. So coming back to Nigeria, how can we achieve that to ensure that we get the teachers that we need so that they can give us the kind of education system that we want?
One, we have to first identify what century are we? We're in the 21st century. And what does the 21st century require of us? So what the 21st century requires from us as at now is a teacher who could apply critical thinking, a teacher who could collaborate, a teacher who could explore,
deploy technology.
So therefore, we have to identify that to know the the type of teacher to employ, to fix in the classroom, to pass this knowledge, this content that the society need at the present state. So the right teacher we need is the teacher that can solve the problem of the 21st century. The teacher that can develop a curriculum for the 21st century, that can solve and inculcate the right necessary skills that is necessary to solve problems, especially problem-solving skills.
Now, I love all these beautiful things that you have said. But do you think all this, we have them currently in the curriculum of teacher training programs in our institutions in Nigeria?
Yes. Like I do tell many people, even educator development, I tell them that there's nothing wrong with our curriculum. We have skills in our curriculum. We have creativity in our curriculum.
Really?
But the problem we have in our curriculum is that we have put sentiment, emotions into the curriculum, whereby we do not want to spend money in the curriculum.
To implement it.
To implement. And when we are talking about these practical skills, they require fund. Like e.g., if we talk about basic science, there's need for a child. Like e.g., we are talking about tools. There is need for a child to see screwdriver, hammer. How do they use all these tools?
In basic technology.
Or if we talked about home economics, we want to teach a child how to prepare rice or prepare or do.
It's not about notes in class.
It's not about notes. All these things require fund. This fund is here available, and yet we say that parents don't pay. It's free education. All these things they are the things that have been removed from the curriculum. That is making the curriculum to just be abstract. And I think we need to invest or allow parents
invest in education
to make these practical skills inside our curriculum to be effective.
All right, good. I love that. Now, there has been this concern about shortage of teachers, because even the UN expressed that concern as part of the theme for this year's World Teachers Day, that there has been this shortage of teachers, and that by 2030, the shortage could be as much as 69 million teachers that will be needed for the education sector, and we are not sure we have that kind of numbers. So, talking about teachers across the globe, because especially with COVID-19, so many teachers were disillusioned, disoriented, and frustrated with the kinds of treatment that they got during COVID-19. So many of them left the job and they did not return after COVID. So I'm forced to ask you this question. So talking about this teacher shortage, now what can be done to reverse this trend? Because we're talking about the kind of education that we want. So if the teachers are not available, how then do we get the kind of education that we want, when we understand the fact that teachers are at the heart of the educational system? So how do we reverse this trend in teacher shortage? Because virtually, especially for every school that you go to now, you would see probably one vacancy and things like that. And for government schools, you would see that the number of students is not, the number of teachers is not commensurate with the number of students. So how do we reverse this trend?
Yes, let me try to itemize something for you to understand. During the COVID-19 period, there's something that happened. People were not able to go out. And according to education, and that is why I said that education is a lifespan, that is throughout your whole life, and you continue to acquire knowledge. So the responsibility of a teacher is to acquire more knowledge. Now, during the COVID-19, there was knowledge explosion.
Yeah.
Now, what are the steps a teacher who has passion should do? And I think at that period, many teachers who have passion for this job were busy thinking of how to apply different methodology. Zoom teaching, WhatsApp teaching, Facebook teaching, online, various platforms to kind of disseminate information to the students. And during that time, there was an era where we have artificial intelligence, where teachers are adopting that. And like Lagos State, I was part of the teachers who quickly intervened through radio teaching, through TV teaching, that we have to equip ourselves, try to amend or adjust the normal classroom teaching to be online teaching, to be distance teaching. So I believe that time, those teachers that have passion, that have love for this job, really shift based on the COVID-19. And now when we are talking about shortage of teachers, to me, I don't believe that we have shortage of teachers, but we have wrong methodology of recruitment of teachers. It is wrong methodology of recruitment of teachers because we have existing universities, colleges of education that graduate students every year, which they are passed through this curriculum. But our methodology of recruiting them, integrating them into the system is slow.
Okay.
Let me use Lagos State as an example. We have 6 educational districts in Lagos State.
Absolutely.
Now, these 6 educational districts know the number of teachers they have. Let's assume they have 12,000 teachers across these 6 districts. And these 12,000 teachers, they retired at various months. I expect that they should be determined that, good, every 6 months, let us recruit. Let us fill back the vacancies
that are left open with the retirement of these.
So if these vacancies are filled, the shortage,
there won't be vacuum like
there
that.
won't be vacuum. Because we have graduates that are coming out from the university that really have the interest and passion to teach, but they are not fixed into this educational system.
Okay. All right. Now, I don't want us to probably be going back and forth. Yes. But the reality that stares at us in the face is manifested in these schools. Whether there is a deliberate effort by the government to reduce the number of teachers that are recruited, it could be deliberate because of probably trying to save cost of, paying salaries. Or whether it is that of proprietors of schools who are unable, because there are many schools that will place vacancies and you don't have people that would apply. There are some cases, some people would apply, but they would not fit into the system of the school. So, by and large, what matters most is that in reality, we have shortage of teachers in the school system. Whether it is deliberate, whether it is probably because of the conditions of service or whatsoever, we have a shortage of teachers. We have more students than the required number of teachers. So, and that's a reality. And that's what I feel that, how do we reverse this trend? Although you have talked about the fact that recruitment, especially by the government, where there is a systemic and probably more like an automatic system of replacing those that are retiring.
Yes.
Now, how about the private sector? One. Then how about those who ordinarily in the current system, we are not even talking about those that are about to retire. Within the current system, how can a teacher be responsible for about 150 students or over 100 students in a classroom when we know the standard of the curriculum is 1 to 40, especially for senior class? So how do we reverse this trend?
Yes.
That's what I want you to speak
One
to.
of the challenges that we have about this teaching job, like in the private sector, a teacher who has passion, who is coming in to teach, he has his own field of specialization and he has some borrowed courses. But by the time he comes for employment, you are asking him to take 2 subjects and you are not putting into consideration
his expertise.
You understand? You are not putting into consideration, one, the remuneration. When a teacher that is taking 1 subject is taking the same amount with teacher that is taking 2 core subjects, the teacher will feel bad. He will believe that, let me look for another place that I can teach just my core subjects. Those are the things that affect the interest of teachers. Teachers will not want to be utilized without a good remuneration or good condition, or even encourage them to do that as an extra effort in order for us not to have lapses in the private sectors.
All right, good. I love that. That you are pointing that out. I hope the proprietors of schools are actually listening. Now, there is this. We even read it in the news that we have teachers advocating an increment in the retirement age from 60 to 65 years, or a situation where you increase the years of service from 35 years to 40 years. Now, I want to ask you, what's your feeling about this move? Do you think it's good for education system?
My own take about this policy. Really, I love one thing about the policy, that there's a condition attached to that policy. That by the time you get to 60 years, if you want to continue your service, you have to go for medical to ensure that you are fit to stand for 2 hours or 1.5 hours in the classroom.
Okay.
But to me, I believe that there is no need, because in South Africa, in London, in Egypt, Kenya, they are still maintaining their 60 years in service.
Okay.
And I believe that anybody above 60
should retire.
Should retire and be a consultant because of the wealth of experience he has gathered while he was in the classroom.
Okay.
So there should be a kind of a mentoring group whereby they move around to monitor and ensure that the standard is maintained.
Okay, absolutely.
And they should be more involved in terms of policy making, not that they should still be in class at 65.
See,
And
okay.
also,
Okay.
we have to understand that most of the colleges of education graduate students that are even young and eager to work and even ready to take more period because the energy is still there. It's still existing in them, and the interest is still existing also in them than teachers who have spent their energy, and you understand,
they have spent the productive aspect of their lives in class, and at that time they ought to, because I'm even forced to ask, like, how many 60-year-old teachers still stay in class? Because I know a lot of them at that age, most likely the least you can get probably is a VP, most of them. So who then are we trying to give more years of service? To stay more as vice principal or as principals, or those actually that have this flair, that this interest, that have the flair, and that are still energetic and agile to actually work in the classrooms. We need them more in the classroom than in the offices. So don't you think this kind of policy would actually even discourage the younger teachers who are looking for opportunities to actually get into the profession?
Yes, it will affect, and that is why you will find out that after coming up with this policy, you are expecting a 60 years or 61 years who is a VP to go back to class and be teaching for 6 period or 4 period.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
All right.
They should be more involved in administrative or consultants to the schools, to the they should be policy makers, not
the teaching line, or engage in active teaching.
Yes.
But I love the fact that the angle that you put to it, that they can actually work as consultants, as monitors, and probably even provide mentorship, for the younger generation of teachers.
Also understand all these things when it comes to curriculum development, when it comes to policy, it's all about interests. Who are the people who come together to make up this policy? You find out that they are the people at the higher level.
Yes, they know. See, it's for their own selfish. You see, it's more for pecuniary reason. It's more for economic, basis. They just want to continue to earn more salaries. So beyond the normal 60 years of it, because a lot of them feel like, what would I fall back to at the age of 60? The question is, must you even retire at that particular age? Because you should start thinking of what you can do beyond just probably, staying in class and whatsoever. So I think it probably shows that we are really not prepared for post-retirement, aspect or part of our lives. So but don't worry, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, the program continues. Please stay with us. Which I would like to appreciate those who have sent in their comments and those who are actually watching us live. We have Ephraim Amadu saying, very nice, thank you. Good one, Mr. Jaya, one of OHS finest. Oh, Orimadegun Latif, thank you very much for that. Also have New Yusuf watching from Ikeja, Lagos. Say thank you for always tuning into us and for always sending in your comments. Thank you very much. We appreciate your comments. So please let us send those comments coming in. We would read them as much as time permits. All right. So as we close, let me quickly ask you one of two things now. As far as teachers are concerned now, and
since mobile data is turned off,
in comparison, when you compare the private sector and the public sector, which one, in your own assessment, do you think provides better opportunities for teachers in terms of conditions of service, exposure to training, opportunities for advancement, and many other benefits like that? Because I know I'm saying this in the light of those young teachers who probably are just, concluding their educational training and are looking at, should I go to the public sector or should I go to the private sector? As an experienced teacher and a senior person in this profession, what advice would you give them in that regard?
Yes. My advice to them is that the private sectors are improving. The public sector are improving drastically. Both of them are putting more effort to increase the condition of service and opportunity and resources needed for this teaching to be effective. Like the private sectors, they engage their teachers in so many training seminars so as to gain knowledge, and also they seek for support also. And now they are involving parents in this teaching and learning, and even in the peaceful environment the teaching and learning is taking place. So parents who are involved, and also for the public service, the government, e.g. like Lagos State government, have really contributed into this education in various aspects.
But remember, Nigeria is not just about Lagos State.
Yes.
And we're talking about Nigeria, we're talking about Africa World Teachers Day. So we're looking at how do we improve the conditions of service of teachers, the conditions where they work, and probably which of the sectors, private or public sector, provides them with the best of opportunity. I'm just saying that, so I just want you to probably be a bit more focused so that, see, I want us to really encourage the younger people in this regard, because I feel like they are the future of this particular profession, and for all professions generally. So we just need to find a way of helping our young people, because we're talking about people who tell you that now who school help, education is a scam. So we are talking about people that have such orientation. We really need to help in reorientating them. So I just want you to probably talk about that. So how do we improve the control of service of work or of service of teachers, and at the same time, which of these sectors provides a better opportunity? Although you have said that both of them are improving.
Both of them are improving. And
anyone
also,
where the opportunity comes, right?
Also, the government also are involving private organization in social corporate responsibility, whereby they comes in and contribute to the school in terms
improving the conducive nature of the environment.
Even in the social corporate responsibility, these private companies also look at the curriculum in terms of maybe environmental way of contributing to the school or supporting the school. So I believe that there are so many ways. Even NGOs, not governmental organizations, comes into the school as well now to support both the teacher and the students, because both need to be considered. And I believe that, and also let us understand that we are in the world whereby we can get information across the world. So everybody is searching for knowledge in terms of how to improve on what is on ground. So I believe that both private and public sector are improving drastically in terms of the condition and benefit for those who are coming into this teaching profession to embrace and enjoy.
All right, good. So on a final note now, I wanted to give you a parting shot, and I would say let it probably come in form of advice to teachers, to the government, and probably to school owners, proprietors of schools. In the light of this year's World Teachers Day, what would be your message to these people?
Yes, my message to everybody, I will start first to the young ones, to the youth, that education is a tool to get employment or a tool to be self-reliance in your community.
Okay.
Education is not employment. It's just a drive. So every young
is a means to an end.
To an end.
Not an end in itself.
So it's not a scam.
So it's a derived demand.
And education
that you use to get what you want, the kind of life that you want. So you must get education to get the kind of life that you want, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So
I love that.
It's the acquisition of knowledge.
Okay, good.
And so the parents, I will encourage the parents, because this teaching or education that we are talking about require both parents and the school and the society
to work together.
They should
all stakeholders.
They should not just leave it to the hands of the school.
They should not abdicate their responsibility. Okay, good.
They should be involved.
All right.
To the government needs to remove emotion from their governance about education.
I love that. That's a punchline. Government needs to remove emotions from governance. All right. So how do you mean? So break it down for them.
Yes. Education is standard. But through the intervention of free education, there are some certain things
that we have lost.
Just
because we want to be politically correct.
Exactly.
All right, good. So Ogasanwo-Olu, Mr. President Tinubu, all the governors, members of the House of Reps, members of the House of Assembly, the Senate. It's not about the mouth. Free education. When we say education is free, someone is paying for it. So we need the right investment by government in education beyond the political sloganeering will make education free. Is that all?
Yes.
All right. So to school owners, proprietors, the businessmen in education, what's your...
Yes, to the school owner, one, for you to have a school, it's all about passion and interest you have. And most of the school owners are people who have gone through this rigorous teaching and learning process before setting it up. So I want the school owner to understand that education is all about making big money. It's all about how to develop your community. And I want to also encourage the government that all those requirements to set a school, they should be a little bit, they should follow the proper discipline, but they should be a little bit lenient.
Okay, so that they can move at their pace.
Exactly.
All right, so they are not just looking at money at all costs. Okay, good.
And also, the school owners should be a little bit liberal the way they treat the teachers when they come in. And also identify that the numbers of period, that is where the problems comes about teaching.
The workload.
The workload. They need to also consider the workload given to the teachers. There are ways you can encourage and motivate a teacher. It's not about money. I can decide to take two subjects on the altar that you are a role model to me, you encourage me, and not base it on money. But rather than standing up, you have to take this.
So number of periods, 25 periods, 40 periods in a week.
Yeah.
So you are all in class every now and then, from one class to another, from one class to another. In fact, you even find it difficult to even have time to even take water. And you are draining our teachers, you are exhausting them. Yes. Is that not so?
Yes.
All right, so
then the teachers. Then I'll also encourage the teachers to attend subject-based training.
To improve their capacity.
Yes, because that is lacking. We are lacking that.
All right. So I love that you are speaking the truth to the teachers themselves now. So let them face it.
E.g., a basic science teacher should attend seminar where they will look at the content of basic science. Because we can gain knowledge within ourselves at the training. They should appoint somebody to teach some particular topics. Because there are some topics that some teachers... Peer teaching. Because there are some topics that some teachers may not have flair for, they may not like. But
they run away from
peer teaching, you understand?
All right.
They can improve their own knowledge through that.
All right, good. I love that. So I love the way you have distributed it around. So everyone has taken theirs. So students, face it, education is not a scam. So please, government, take your own. Go beyond emotions. Invest appropriately in education. School owners, yes, it's good to make money, but at least let the interest be about developing the society beyond just making money, and be considerate of your teachers. Teachers, you need to upskill. You need to improve yourself. You need to work on yourself, improve your capacity, and especially as it relates to your subject specialization. So you need subject, based, professionalization and upskilling. So please, you need that. Thank you very much. So that's all we can take on Discuss segment for today. We'd like to appreciate Mr. Ajayi for his presence and insight that he has provided on today's program. Sincerely, I have enjoyed myself, and I want to believe you all must have enjoyed this particular session. So thank you very much, and we hope that we'll have other opportunities to actually bring you into the studio so that you share more insights like this. Is that not so?
No problem. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so we'll look forward to that time. So all right, we'll go on a quick break. I know, in fact, there is no time for break now. We'll take our words on the marble. Now, our words on the marble with which we usually round off the show is coming from Guy Kawasaki. He says that if you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers, because they are society's heroes. If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers, they are society's heroes. That's our words on the marble for today. So let us do more to motivate and support our teachers as they hold the key to the door of development and a brighter future for us all. All right, so this is just to inform you, our SIM listeners, that you can advertise your products and services and also showcase your event on our program. This you can do by calling the numbers 0702-507-4268 or 0703-953-8998. Thank you very much for joining us on today's program. Let's know how you feel about it through our various platforms, www.facebook.com/education today. Our Twitter handle is @education_today. Instagram, education_2day today. YouTube Education Today. You can also send an email to educationmediaservices@gmail.com. Many thanks to the entire crew of Education today. And the management of Light Radio, its supervisor producer has been Said Aremu, supported by Nima Ibrahim. Do join us same time next week on this station. I'll leave you with this song, All Because of You by Zolani Mahola, dedicated to our teachers for the thankless job they are doing. I am OLUBUNMI KAZEEM. See you next week and goodbye.
Teacher, the teacher who magically brought books to life, the one who helped us to turn letters into words, into sentences, and into stories we could tell, the teacher who helped us to count, to divide, to carry over, to multiply, and who stayed behind until we understood, the one who stood on the fields in the rain, the one who took the time to see us and to learn our real names. To all the great teachers across this land, we thank you.
All the words in the world wouldn't tell you, all the money you never could spend it. You deserve all the praise in the world, 'cause it's all because of you that I can stand in the middle of me. I can speak about all I believe in. All your patience, your warmth, understanding, it made me who I am. All because of you. I can make my dreams